Ew. Huh? Oh.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Men's Room. I'm your host, Mark Sparks. Today we're going to be talking about great dates, not just where to go, but how to make dates great. And with me today, our guest, Michael, the dating wizard. Michael, pleasure to have you, man.
Nice to be here, thanks.
I'd like to start off at the top. You teach what?
And what I teach is how to build attraction while also creating trust,
Okay.
which is something that is new in this field and community. A lot of the famous tactics for creating attraction actually ruin trust.
They call you the dating wizard. How did you get to that point?
Like a lot of guys, I was, in high school, and there's like the girl that you're interested in, and like
Yes.
she's like the girl maybe a lot of guys are interested in, but for sure I was. I remember hearing this girl saying, all guys are jerks. I'm thinking, well, I'll make sure to absolutely not be a jerk. I'm gonna show her I am so not like those guys, and I did like every single nice thing and all that, and it never got me anywhere. But it's not like most guys. I was obsessive. Like most guys would kind of get the hint. But I figured, probably I'm missing something. So then I became convinced that the whole problem was I was being too nice. When you come to that conclusion, what's the first thing you do? You figure, that's it. Instead of being nice, I'm gonna like not give her compliments. I'm gonna like not be there. I'm gonna not. So yeah, when you first start off doing that, what you're really doing that's attractive there is you're reclaiming your own dignity. It's not about being nice. It's like you were at this massive extreme where you basically gave up your own identity and who you are. Now you're starting to reclaim some conviction in yourself. And that's what's attractive. But what happens is, because so many guys start getting just a little bit of results when they're starting to take this opposite perspective, so they become convinced that they got to go off the rails with this, whether
Right.
it's a game, whether you figure I'll call her in 3 days, or I'll let her know that this girl likes me too, which creates like a jealousy. And so now you're creating negative emotions in the girl, and then all these guys wonder, how come I'm not with the girl anymore? Why does she want to talk to me? Why? Now he's thinking even more, proves must be that they are bad, and I have to be even meaner.
Right.
So after years and years of that, it took me many years to figure out all the subtleties between how to create trust while creating attraction. What parts of this stuff that guys think is working, what part of it actually is useful, what part isn't.
So what's your magic?
Right.
What do you sprinkle?
Okay, well, thanks. Yeah, what's the wizardry
Yeah,
about?
what's the wizardry behind it?
Yeah, so it starts with a foundation premise, and that foundation is, it's all about making a woman feel good. That's really what this is about.
Really?
So which sounds almost like, uh-oh, now I'm getting back to being that nice guy
Right.
again. I like to give the example of Clark Kent and Superman.
Okay.
Clark Kent and Superman are actually the same guy. But the thing is, Clark Kent is a creation. It's not who he really is. He's really Superman, but he creates this construct called Clark Kent. Why? So that nobody should find out that he's really Superman. So what does he do? He takes on all the beliefs, all the mannerisms, all the voice tones, even like the style of dressing of somebody who feels inferior, someone who doesn't have conviction in their actions. And it works. Now, I know it's like a comic book world, but the truth is that in reality, it's very, very similar, because guys grow up with this concept thinking that behind Superman has to be a Clark Kent. So guys think that they're being good by actually not being totally confident,
Right.
by actually self-doubting. They think that behind Superman has to be Clark Kent, but really, Superman is a good guy. There's nothing wrong with coming across as Superman. What was the cliche in the old cartoons? It was like, Superman as Clark Kent would go, "This is a job for Superman," right? Like he would start off with that voice.
Yeah.
And so right there is actually a little clue to a much more powerful picture, which is your voice alone. So let's just, there are so many things to this, but let's just focus on voice alone.
Okay.
A woman can tell everything about you just from the way that you're using your voice. And it doesn't matter if your voice sounds like Mickey Mouse, whether it sounds like Darth Vader, it's the emotions that are present in your voice. So let's say, for example, I'm feeling really tired and kind of down and not too confident. So I'm gonna kind of talk like that, right? Now let's say I'm feeling really happy. I'm gonna be like, "Hey man, what's up?"
Yeah.
You see? Let's say I'm feeling just a little bit scared, but trying to be nice, and I see a girl. I'm gonna say like, I'm searching for the words, right?
Right.
She can tell what's going on in my head just from my voice. Not even the words she doesn't even need to know. So what I say is one step that guys can do to take control of this is at first consciously think of the way you're using your voice. Let's say I tell a guy, tell me the apple is red. Just say that sentence. So the guy will go, the apple is red.
Right.
Say, okay, that's nice. Now, let's add a little bit more pep into this. The apple is red. A little more pep. But I'll say, okay, good. Now let's add a little bit more conviction behind it. Go, the apple is red. And I'll say, okay, now let's say that apple was like, it was delicious. It was a sensual experience. You go, the apple is red. Like there'd be like a breathiness into it.
Yeah.
Now, bring all those emotions together. The upbeatness, the conviction, and the sensuality, and say it, the apple is red. And I'll go, okay, now you go up to a girl, instead of saying, hi, how are you? Go, hey, how are you? Just that alone is connecting to her in her brain. She's
Right.
automatically feeling, this guy is feeling great and confident. When you change the way you're using your voice, you can't help but actually change the way you're feeling. So like it's this kind of stuff that got me fascinated because it's about real fundamental change as opposed to tactics. This is the worst one. Tactics to try to lower the girl's self-esteem. That really bothers me. This is what is being preached out there. And the problem is that, again, for a guy who has no confidence at first, he'll believe the statement, you have to lower the woman's self-esteem because if you don't do that, she'll take advantage of you. She has to feel less than you. And since his experiences in the past were painful, it's easy to believe that because it was painful in the past. And when you're suffering, when you're in pain, you become very vulnerable to hearing things that suggest women are somehow bad, women are somehow this different species almost, where you need to kind of press the buttons for things to happen. Well, the real truth is the buttons we have to press are on ourselves. It's very interesting, and I think in 1903 there was some survey of women, what they wanted in a man. They said strength of character. That was the number one thing that they said. And that's in 1903. Women really do care about your character, but they want strength of character. They didn't say just nice guy character. They said strength of character. So strength of character is the kind of man who will be the same person regardless of where he is. You know, he knows who he is. His values don't change. He doesn't become this different person. And that's part of what being cool is. You think, what is cool? You think the word cool means that you're cool. You're not like this changing, you're cool. Because the real version of cool is you know who you are. And that makes you calm. That makes you relaxed. That means even if she doesn't like you, you're cool. That is attractive because on a sub-communicative level, you're implying value about yourself. If you really don't feel value in yourself, first of all, if you don't feel it, you actually don't, because perception is reality. If you really don't feel it, you're not a fun person to be around.
Right.
And then this gets right back to the trust stuff, which I was talking about before, because look in Hollywood. You have guys that have all the looks, all the money, all the fame, all the everything, and then they end up on drugs, they end up in rehab, they end up ruining their relationship. Sometimes they ruin their career.
Right.
And you're thinking, why? Like, why can't they make their relationship work?
They have everything.
Right, so sometimes you hear, well, it's because there's temptation. Temptation comes when you feel dead inside. When you are in a relationship and you love the woman loves you, and you're secure with yourself, you are feeling so damn good from that, you don't get tempted. But if you're insecure with yourself, then you're going to be much more likely to cheat.
And it may not be, you think it's always cheating though?
No, I don't think it's always cheating. No, I don't think that every insecure guy is going to cheat. I think some insecure guys will just maybe kiss up a lot. But then that's also not fun because you're with somebody who you know feels really low about themselves, And therefore, that is kind of like, you know when you have a computer with a virus on it, the computer goes really slow and it's not working at its full function. So when you're insecure, all your charismatic qualities, your sense of humor, your wit, they all start to slow down. So if a woman is confident and she's feeling great about herself, but you aren't, it's like she's like an F-16 going like a super speed, and you're like this like tractor going blah, 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 and you're no fun to be around. So that's just one massive aspect of attraction and trust.
So let's talk about the date. Let's talk about, you know, maybe even a little bit of leading into the date, but and being on that date. How do you keep that attraction? How do you keep that value? What should you be doing to make this work?
Right, absolutely. So just to get a little bit leading into the date.
Yeah,
so
sure.
obviously you have to find the woman somewhere. So let's say, for example, for me, I used to do a lot of the club stuff. Then I found it's easier to find a woman of quality outside of a club, just because you get a chance to talk to her better than when she's a little tipsy or maybe with a lot of her friends and loud music. So let's say, for example, I meet a woman at a bookstore.
Right.
So I would start the conversation with something giving. So if I see that she's in the award-winning section, I may start with something a little bit funny like, so you actually read this stuff for your own personal enjoyment, or is that just like for school? And usually it's really for themselves, right? And to me, that is a cool thing. So then I am now validating her on something that she genuinely earned and I genuinely respect. And that's just one example. I mean, it could be on the bus. It could be she's doing whatever, her calculus, or it could be anything. So let's say you've talked a few minutes. You said, hey, it was nice meeting you. I'd like to talk to you again sometime. You know, my name is Michael. She tells you her name is Sarah, or whatever her name is, and you get her phone number. Okay, so let's say now you call her up, and she's like, yeah, I'd like to meet you, you know, and you agree to meet. So where should this first date be? Now, I think that the first date should really be low-key, and the reason is because a lot of guys think it's about where they're taking them. You know, I really want to impress her, right?
And take the nicest restaurant.
Yeah, take her to the nicest restaurant. I heard this really cool club, but the restaurant, that's a big one. You know, this is the nicest restaurant, you know? And the problem with that is that unless you talk to her for like 5-6 hours already before, so she really knows you, and now it's kind of like celebrating it a little bit at a higher level.
That's a good way
you
to
know.
put it, yeah.
But if she doesn't really know you that well yet, your first date should be lower key. You know, if it's summer weather, you want to meet at the park and during the daytime, you know, or a coffee shop or a Starbucks, anything like that, that's all good, low key, because she needs to find out who you are before it's even worth it to her. And before it should be worth it to you to want to go to this big restaurant. There's nothing nice about wanting to spend $100 on a woman you don't even know. That's actually saying that you are either A, ignorant, naive, or extremely superficial.
Yeah.
And superficial in two ways, that all you need to know is her looks, and superficial also in the second way, which is you're willing to buy her. Like, you don't know her, but here, I bought you a meal, now you should, you know, I'm paying for you.
Yeah, what's next? I get my next.
I get my next. So it's like, instead of being complimentary to her, it's an insult. And then these guys wonder why they're not getting anywhere. And this is really key. A lot of guys are so caught up on, wow, I got this girl who's willing to go out with me, I need to impress her. And that's already coming from the wrong mindset, because you need to know what's important to you in a woman in order for you to want to go out with her. If you are so impressed by her looks already, then it's already something screwed up. And the irony is a woman wants to know that you're qualifying her, because if she sees that it means a lot to you that a woman has to have certain qualities, then she knows that not every woman makes it with you. And that makes her feel better, it makes her feel more special.
Right.
And the key to this is that it shouldn't be some kind of artificially contrived, well, you know, I look for a woman who's in science, biology, with brown eyes and red hair, and wears purple dresses and goes skiing in the summer and helps kids learn how to read, you know, unless that's your thing, right? But the thing is it needs to come from a genuine place. What really is important to you? So you ask her. Like for me, I will actually ask her a question. I'll ask her, so what are the most important values to you? And you know what's really interesting, by the way, that particular question, like now I'm in a serious relationship, right? And it's great, but I'm just saying, when I used to ask women this question, 99% of women say, you know, no one ever asked me that before. I'm thinking, wow, so these guys don't care what they don't care what you're about? That's crazy. So like this there is a huge thing. Now I'm thinking a lot of guys will think, okay, I'm going to ask that question, but really I don't care. If you don't really care about what her values are, don't ask it, but you should care. You should care. It should matter a lot to you. That's who this person actually is.
Well, you're spending time with them,
You're
right?
spending time with them. Why do you want to spend $100 on a restaurant, you don't even know who you're dealing with.
Right.
So what you want to find out is not just the words on the external surface, family, job. You want to find out which emotional values are important to her.
Okay.
And so what I mean by that is because what one person means by family and what someone else means by family can be two totally different things. Maybe to me, family means, once a year on a big holiday we get together. That's family.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that once a year thing, then I feel like I got no family stuff going on.
Right.
So you first of all, you want to find out what do you mean by that. Second thing you want to find out is what emotional reward are you getting from that value? Because that's really what she values. So let's say, for example, she says, I love going mountain climbing. I love, I really love skydiving. So you can find out from there what she really values is adrenaline.
Right.
That's what she values. Yeah. I'm just kind of giving extremes.
No, but
definitely you want to find out what emotional states are really important to them, because we all want to feel good, and that's important. And one of the big ones is self-esteem, and that's why she's probably agreed to be with you even for the date, because you made her feel good about herself. But for the long-term stuff, she needs to know, and you need to know, what emotional values are important. So if someone likes to socialize a lot, they like that feeling of people. I can almost call that the emotion of socializing. And obviously, if someone tells you that they like smoking, they like taking drugs, or whatever, you already know that preserving their health is not high on their list. And if that's not high on their list, that will affect everything. Now, if you have all this figured out, like you already know what's important to you,
right, and
you're asking her these things, she may not have thought about all this herself. She's going to be so impressed. And if you connect, it's like you just went light years ahead in terms of speeding up the connection, the intimacy, the trust, and the attraction. Because you see, if a woman feels she can't trust you, she'll shut down her own attraction. And that helps you get rid of all those things like you hear, there's a lull in the conversation, the awkward pause. You won't have awkward pauses because you're going to have a lot to talk about.
Right.
And it's not just superficial fluff talk to talk about. It's important things to do with your identity and her identity. And everyone loves talking about themselves anyway.
Right.
So, but let's just say, for some reason, there is a lull in the conversation, and it goes on for a while, and it's feeling a little awkward. So what I say is, in moments like that, you mention it. You bring it up, you go, awkward pauses are great, aren't they? And then she'll laugh because you just broke the tension.
Right.
Now you broke the tension, you're both feeling relaxed, chances are the conversation will pick up again. And that gets me to another topic, which is being funny.
I was going to say, because you did it with some humor. It wasn't necessarily just pointing at it. You were kind of funny about it.
Exactly. Humor is about extreme winning. So then you might say, well, how come we see so much comedy where the guy is a loser? Well, that's because it makes you feel like a winner. That's what it is. Yep. So it's either extreme lameness of somebody else, or extreme coolness, or extreme winning for you.
Yourself.
That's right. So many guys have gone from this community the wrong idea of what it means to be funny, that they became mean. It was kind of like, oh, is that your real hair or is that a wig, Oh, are you going to wear that dress? Oh, I think I found that, at the Salvation Army, Now, the thing is sometimes I could still be funny if the girl is massively confident. She'll understand it's a joke.
Right.
But I just don't like that whole obsession with, I gave a one-up on you. Being funny in general, as long as you're having confidence, is a cool thing. You're making somebody laugh. You're making you're putting in a great state. When a woman is laughing, she's more receptive to everything. Because you're not only the person that's funny, but you're also the person she can come to. Right. She can trust to be that support for her. As opposed to the guy who's, can I do something for you?
Yeah.
See, that's not really supportive. That's kind of like, I need you or I'm dead.
Well, exactly.
And you want to be the rock she can lean on, you know? So if a woman feels she can trust you in all these other ways, now she could totally let go with you. And if a woman feels she can totally trust and let go with you, that's going to mean better sex, better relationship, better communication. The closer you get, the more you can share with each other. You're not afraid that if you're not perfect, they won't like you. Because you know what? She's not perfect either. And that's another thing. Being a woman is not easy. Not because I'm a woman, but because I look at the basic realities.
I was going to say,
being a woman is not easy.
Yeah.
If you think about it,
was it?
if you think about it, every single insecurity a guy can have, women have 10 times worse. Okay, exactly. So let's say you're a guy walking down the street. Maybe you'll see one ad. Maybe it's like, I don't know, a fitness magazine. Maybe,
Right.
I don't even know. Like, if you're walking down the street, you probably won't even see that. Now, if you're a woman, you're walking down the street, you'll probably see like 3 buses pass by with ads for like makeup, clothing, whatever, and it's some airbrushed model who doesn't even look like the model, doesn't even look like the model.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so how on earth can a real woman look like something that doesn't even exist? So that's just one thing women have to deal with. The second thing women have to deal with is the media tends to think that women only exist between like age 18 and 28. You know what I mean? Women have it really, really tough. So if a guy's thinking, I don't know if I can talk to her, no, you can talk to her. It's not so, you know, life is not so great for them. They don't think that they're so high up there. You know, and if you come in and act like a jerk trying to lower her self-esteem, now you're the enemy.
Right.
If you come across as a guy with value, now a compliment from you will be meaningful. To me, it's about reinventing the good guy, reinventing the nice guy.
Okay.
You know, let's bring back the heroic version of a good guy. You know, heroes, women love heroes. The Harlequin romance novels, it's always the hero. 9/11, the firefighters. You know, being a good guy is not bad.
Right.
Being a good guy is not unattractive. It's when it comes from weakness. When the compliment and the quote-unquote niceness comes from weakness, that's not attractive.
Right.
But when the goodness comes from strength and conviction and belief in yourself, then it's very, very attractive.
Michael, the dating wizard, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, let's take a look at our 5 takeaway points from Michael, the dating wizard. Point number 1, let's reinvent the good guy. Be your hero. Women love heroes. It all comes down to making her feel good. Point number 2, a woman can tell everything about you just by your voice. So make sure to master it and bring emotion to what you're saying. Point number 3, use humor to get her laughing and she'll be more receptive to you. Let her know you have higher standards and qualify her. By letting her know she meets your standards, she'll feel special and she'll enjoy the connection with you more. Point number 4, first dates should be in low-key, low-commitment places. Don't lock her into something long-term where you both can't escape if it's not working. Find out what's important to her life and what emotions she values. That way, you can do things to make her feel those emotions. Point number 5, if a woman feels like she can't trust you, she'll shut down her own attraction. Building a strong trust between the two of you allows you to let go and really build a connection. And don't forget, there's no such thing as failure, only opportunities to learn. And in life, class is always in session. I'm your host, Mark Sparks. See you next time in the men's room.